There comes a moment in a person's life when the heavens open and what was once written in lack begins to be rewritten in abundance. There comes a divine hour when the same God who watched you struggle begins to turn the pages of your story. I declare to you now, this is that moment. God is rewriting your financial records. The same hands that shaped the universe are now moving through the unseen realms, altering the script of your destiny. The same voice that called light out of darkness is calling provision out of scarcity for you. What was once a record of debts, loss, and limitation is being transformed into a record of wealth, growth, and overflowing supply. You may not see it yet in your bank account, but heaven has already signed it. God has already approved it. The shift has already begun in the unseen. Many of you have walked through seasons where every effort seemed to crumble, where the harder you worked, the smaller the result appeared. You cried, you prayed, you sowed, and yet the harvest seemed delayed. But hear me today, delay is not denial. The silence of God is not His absence. When God is quiet, He is not ignoring you. He is writing. He is editing the script of your story so that when He reveals it, it will make sense. Why certain doors closed? Why certain people walked away? Why certain opportunities fell apart? God is not just watching your life. He is rewriting it. And when God rewrites, He does not use ink that fades. He writes with the eternal signature of His will. You see, your financial record is not just about money. It is about destiny. It is about what God intends to manifest through you. Some of you were born into poverty, not because that was God's design, but because He wanted to show what His power can do in transforming ashes into gold. You have carried the burden of bills, loans, and limitations. But God says today, I am changing the story. Your name that once represented a struggle will soon represent supernatural supply. You are about to move from begging to building, from surviving to thriving, from asking to owning. The hand that have been stretched out for help will now become the hand that gives help. You will be the lender, not the borrower. You will be the one others come to for counsel, for opportunity, for hope. God is not just giving you money, He is giving you authority over the realm of provision. He is teaching you that wealth is not just a physical currency, it is spiritual alignment. When your spirit aligns with the will of God, everything around you must shift to match that alignment. That is why the world cannot understand why, after being broken, you still rise. They cannot understand how, after being rejected, you still glow with faith. It is because you are walking with the one who holds the pen of destiny. You are walking with the one who writes the stories no man can erase. There is a divine rewriting happening right now. In the invisible, God is erasing the stains of financial shame that marked your past. The debt that kept you awake at night are being canceled in ways you will not understand. The lack that limited your dreams is being broken. You will soon see the manifestation of divine provision that flows without limit. When God rewrites your record, He also rewrites your understanding. He teaches you that money is not the goal, it is the byproduct of obedience. It is the result of divine alignment. When you obey the voice of God in the small things, He releases abundance in the big things. Many people chase money, but the wise chase God. Because when you chase God, money will chase you. There is power in believing that God can rewrite. Your faith is the pen in God's hand. Your trust is the ink. When you speak with faith, you give God permission to manifest what He has already written in heaven. You see, many have a faith for salvation, but few have a faith for transformation. God is not limited by your salary, by your background, or by your education. He is not bound by what your economy says or what your society predicts. When God decides to elevate you, He will use what others overlook. He will promote you from the very places people rejected you. He will open streams of income that you didn't even know existed. He will turn your ideas into influence and your vision into value. Do not be afraid of small beginnings, for God often hides His greatest treasures in humble places. When you have little, God observes how you handle it. When you are faithful with a little, He rewrites your record to entrust you with much. Some of you are about to step into much. You are about to enter into a season where your previous financial limits will no longer exist. God is transferring wealth, not to make you boastful, but to make you a blessing. You will build what others thought impossible. You will feed those who once pitied you. You will employ those who once doubted you. Your wealth will be a testimony of divine authorship. The problem with many people is that they only see what's written on paper. They look at the bank statement and think that's the final word. But hear me, God's word is higher than any statement. The report of heaven overrides the report of man. You may have a record of a debt, but God has a record of a destiny. You may have a record of a lack, but God has a record of a provision. When God steps into your situation, He does not consult your past to decide your future. He simply declares what He has already purposed for you. He says, you are blessed, you are favored, you are prosperous. And the moment you believe that, the rewriting begins. You must stop identifying yourself by your financial struggles. Stop calling yourself broke. Stop saying you can't afford it. Stop speaking like a victim. Every word you speak is a seed in the soil of your destiny. When you say, I can, you lack heaven's resources. But when you say, God is providing, you open the gate of divine abundance. God works with the words you release in faith. Speak abundance, even when you see lack. Speak growth, even when everything around you feels stagnant. Speak prosperity, even when the numbers say otherwise. Your words invite the rewriting hand of God. There are people watching this right now who feel forgotten. You've done everything right. You've worked, prayed, tithed, given, and yet nothing seems to move. But God says, do not measure my power by your timing. Sometimes God delays because He is perfecting. Sometimes He withholds because He is preparing. When God rewrites, He does not rush. He rewrites in alignment with eternity. And when the page turns, it will turn swiftly. The same God who can turn night into day can turn your story in one moment. One phone call, one opportunity, one idea, one divine connection, and everything can change. There is a spiritual economy that is greater than any financial system on earth. When you connect with God's economy, you become recession-proof. You become inflation-proof because your source is not man, it is God. The world may shake, but those rooted in God will always rise. You will not depend on the limited flow of man's provision, but on the limitless overflow of divine supply. There are ideas sleeping inside you that heaven wants to awaken. There are inventions, books, businesses, and investments waiting for your obedience. When God rewrites your financial record, He also rewrites your mindset. He delivers you from the mentality of lack. He removes the fear of running out and replaces it with the confidence of running over. You are not a beggar in the kingdom of God. You are a steward of divine resources. You are not called to live beneath circumstances. You are called to dominate them. God did not design you to chase blessings. He designed you to create them. When God rewrites your record, He gives you wisdom that multiplies what you have. He gives you the discipline to sustain wealth, the vision to expand it, and the generosity to share it. Because true prosperity is not how much you keep, but how much you release. The river that keeps flowing never runs dry. Many people block their rewriting because they compare their lives to others. Stop measuring your season by someone else's timeline. God writes uniquely. What takes another 10 years can take you 10 days when God's hand is upon you. Your story is sacred. Your path is divine. Your breakthrough is personal. The same God who raised one from the dust can raise you from death. The same God who multiplied the seed can multiply your resources. He can turn one stream into 7. He can open doors where walls existed. He can create a way through what looked impossible. And when He does, you will know it was not luck, it was rewriting. God is removing every label of poor, incapable, and average from your record. He is clothing you with the garments of divine favor. You will walk into places that your qualifications could not access. You will receive approvals that others thought impossible. You will see money come to you through channels that make no earthly sense. God will use even your enemies to fund your assignment. The wealth of the wicked is being transferred into righteous hands, and those hands may be yours. Do not underestimate what God can do through obedience. When He tells you to give, give. When He tells you to wait, wait. When He tells you to act, act. Every instruction carries provision. Every step of faith rewrites a line of your destiny. God cannot bless rebellion, but He will always honor obedience. And the moment your obedience aligns with His will, heaven's supply begins to flow without limit. You will look back one day and say, if I had known what God was preparing, I would have never doubted. You are entering a season of supernatural replacement. Everything you lost financially, every investment that failed, every deal that collapsed, every opportunity that slipped, God is about to restore it in multiplied form. You will not recover the same way. You will recover greater. The years of pain will turn into years of plenty. The same table where you wept will become the table of feasting. The same place where you were embarrassed will become the place where you are elevated. When God rewrites, He compensates. He does not just restore what was lost. He adds interest. Lift your eyes from the problem and fix them on the provider. Stop crying over what left and start rejoicing over what's coming. Your faith must move before your finances move. Speak abundance, live expectancy, walk like one who knows God is working behind the scenes. You are not waiting for money. Money is waiting for you to believe. You are not waiting for opportunity. Opportunity is waiting for your obedience. God is already positioning people, aligning circumstances, and rearranging timelines just to fulfill what He has written about you. The rewriting is not random, it is intentional. God is rewriting your financial records because He wants your life to be a testimony. People will look at you and say, how did this happen? And you will say, God did it. Your wealth will become worship. Your success will become a sermon. Your prosperity will speak louder than any words. Because when God blesses you, He blesses you to display His glory. He blesses you so that others may see His power through your story. Now hear me clearly. God is not only rewriting your financial records, He is rewriting the very way you think about provision. For too long, many of you have looked at money as a commodity, as a struggle, as something that is earned by sweat and worry. But God wants you to understand that provision is a reflection of His presence in your life. Your abundance is not dependent on the economy, on human favor, or on chance. Your abundance flows because God has determined it. Every limitation you have experienced is being undone, not by your efforts alone, but by the divine intervention of the Almighty. What man cannot change, God can. What the world cannot provide, God can supply. The shift you have been waiting for is spiritual first and financial second. The moment your spirit aligns with God's plan, your bank account will obey the invisible laws of heaven. Listen carefully, because this is a principle that most people miss. God does not rewrite your financial records merely to make you comfortable. He rewrites them to make you courageous. He is creating a confidence in you that no situation, no setback, no debt, no crisis can shake. You will walk into rooms, into negotiations, into opportunities, and you will know that the unseen hand of God is behind you. You will not rely on flattery, on manipulation, or on persuasion, because you will have the authority of divine backing. People will feel it in your presence. They will recognize that the source of your success is not ordinary, it is extraordinary. This is the power of a record rewritten by God. And do not underestimate the subtle ways God works. Sometimes the rewriting begins quietly. A small increase here, a sudden idea there, a chance meeting that seems insignificant, but these are the strokes of the pen of heaven. They are God's whispers, His markers, His divine blueprint being laid out. If you dismiss them as coincidence, you delay your breakthrough. If you embrace them with the faith, you accelerate it. God is meticulous. He does not act hastily. Every detail is calculated. Every opportunity designed to bring you from lack to overflow. Your awareness must rise to recognize His movement, for often the rewriting occurs where you least expect it. Your financial record is not just being rewritten in material terms, it is being rewritten in spiritual terms. God is aligning your character, your discipline, your vision, and your generosity with the provision that is coming. For wealth that is not rooted in wisdom is a seed that will wither. God wants your record rewritten so that you are not only blessed, but also prepared to steward that blessing. You will not just receive, you will manage it, multiply, and release. The riches that are being prepared for you will not enslave you. They will empower you. They will not make you proud. They will make you grateful. They will not be temporary. They will be eternal in their impact. Some of you have been looking for shortcuts, for quick fixes, for secret formulas to wealth. Listen carefully. There is only one secret: alignment with God. When your thoughts, your plans, your actions, and your faith line up with His will, provision flows. And when provision flows, it is unstoppable. You may have seen others stumble with wealth because they attempted to acquire it apart from divine guidance. But your wealth, your record, your destiny, these are written by God's hand. No human error, no market collapse, no opposition can erase what God has decreed. You are entering a season where every effort, every seed sown, every skill you apply will be multiplied by unseen forces that work in your favor. There are moments in life when your financial reality feels fixed, unchangeable. The debts feel permanent. The opportunity is limited. The struggle unending. But God is the author of new beginnings. He is not limited by what is. He is only limited by your faith. The same God who can command the universe into order can command abundance into your life. You will witness miracles in the marketplace, in your investments, in your career, your businesses, your skills, your talents. All of them will become instruments of provision beyond human calculation. You will see returns that defy logic because God is rewriting the record with a signature that is supernatural. Do not fear those who mock your vision. Do not be discouraged by those who doubt your potential. Every time someone questions your ability, God writes a line in your favor. Every time the world says impossible, God says already done. This is the paradox of divine rewriting. The more the world resists, the more God moves. When you keep your faith alive, when you continue to act in obedience, God turns opposition into opportunity. What others call failure, God calls preparation. What others call disappointment, God calls strategy. Every setback is being rewritten into a setup for your blessing. Every closed door is being rewritten into an open highway for your provision. You must understand the power of speaking what God has already written. Your words are not empty. They are instruments of faith. When you declare, God is rewriting my financial record, you are aligning yourself with the decree of heaven. When you speak faith in the face of scarcity, you invite God to move faster. Do not shrink in your declarations. Do not whisper timid prayers. Boldly speak life over your finances. Boldly claim the abundance that God has already written. Boldly act with confidence, even if the balance shows otherwise. The unseen realm will catch up with the spoken word, and your financial reality will transform. God is also rewriting your network, your connection, your allies. He is positioning people around you who will accelerate your growth. He is opening doors to partnership, to mentorship, to opportunities that are divinely timed. Pay attention to the people He places in your path. Not every meeting is coincidental. Not every conversation is trivial. God is orchestrating alignment, creating a web of support and opportunity that will converge to manifest your rewritten record. Your environment will change because God is changing it, and your interactions will become catalyst for breakthrough. And as the rewriting continues, you will notice a shift in your mindset. Scarcity thinking will give way to abundance thinking. Fear will be replaced with faith. Anxiety will be replaced with assurance. You will begin to see money not as a source of worry, but as a tool of empowerment. You will begin to recognize opportunities that once passed unnoticed. Your vision will expand, your goals will rise, and your courage will grow. The rewriting of your financial record is not just external, it is internal. God transforms not only what you have, but also who you are becoming. There are moments when you may feel overwhelmed by the enormity of what God is doing. You may feel unworthy, unprepared, or incapable. But that is exactly when God's rewriting shines brightest. He does not require perfection. He requires faith. He does not demand experience. He demands obedience. The hand that writes destiny is patient and it is persistent. Every prayer you prayed in secrecy, every sacrifice you made in hope, every act of faith that seemed unnoticed, God is taking all of it, weaving it into a record of provision that will astonish the world. When you finally see it manifest, you will realize it was not your effort, but God's power that created the abundance. You will also learn the joy of giving in this season. God rewrites your record, not just to increase your wealth, but to expand your influence. The moment you understand that your increase is not just for yourself, but for others, you unlock a higher level of blessing. The more you bless, the more you receive, the more you sow into righteous hand, the more God multiplies your harvest. Your abundance will become a river that touches lives, heals situations, and demonstrates the character of God. True wealth is measured not by accumulation, but by the impact it creates. God is teaching you this as He rewrites your record. You are entering a time when your history of lack will no longer define you. Your story of struggle will no longer limit you. God is turning what seemed impossible into evidence of His provision. Opportunities will multiply, resources will expand, and doors that were sealed will swing open. You will look back at the days of waiting, the nights of worry, the seasons of limitation, and you will see them as the very soil in which your abundance was planted. God's rewriting has purpose, timing, and perfection. Nothing is wasted in His hands. Every moment of struggle is now part of the prelude to your breakthrough. Now, hear me. God is not merely changing your circumstances. He is transforming your very identity. Your financial record is being rewritten because God wants you to walk as a person who carries abundance naturally, as one whose presence brings increase. He is removing every limitation that told you you cannot, and replacing it with divine capability that declares, you can because I am with you. The same God who causes rivers to flow in deserts is now releasing provision in your life in ways that the world cannot explain. You will step into situations that once terrified you, and you will step out victorious, not because of skill, strategy, or luck, but because God Himself has rewritten your story and established your authority over lack. There is a spiritual principle I want you to understand. God often rewrites before you even ask. Many wait for a sign, for a solution, for an opening, but God moves in secrecy. He rearranges circumstances, aligns resources, and prepares your breakthrough even while you are asleep. Do not mistake your current state for finality. The seed that seems buried is already germinating under the soil of heaven. The river that seems dry has already been filled in the spiritual realm. Your bank account, your business, your opportunities are already written in abundance. The moment your faith rises to recognize it, the manifestation will follow. Do not rush God's timing, but do not doubt it either. Trust that His rewriting is perfect and unstoppable. Some of you are worried about the size of your blessing. You think God cannot provide this much. Well, this is too great for me to handle. I tell you today, your mind limits what God intends. God does not measure provision by your imagination. He measures it by your faith. The universe is not constrained by human reasoning. When God writes, He writes infinitely. When He blesses abundantly. You are not being prepared for mediocrity. You are being prepared for miracles. You are not being readied for ordinary increase. You are being readied for supernatural overflow. Every small step you take in obedience is building the foundation for wealth that cannot be counted by earthly standards. You must understand that God's rewriting is also about alignment. He is aligning your heart, your purpose, and your decisions with what He has ordained for you. Provision that comes apart from alignment can vanish, but provision that is divinely aligned endures. That is why God often tests your faith with seasons of waiting, scarcity, or challenge. He is not punishing you, He is preparing you. He is ensuring that when abundance flows, it flows through hands that will manage it with wisdom, distribute it with integrity, and honor it with gratitude. God is not only writing a new financial record, He's writing a record of character, wisdom, and spiritual maturity that will sustain that wealth for generations. There are those who try to manipulate circumstances through schemes, shortcuts, or hidden agendas. Do not be tempted by these things. God's rewriting is not about cleverness, it is about faithfulness. Obedience, honesty, perseverance, and vision are the instruments God uses to rewrite your life. The wisdom you need to handle wealth, the strategy to grow it, the timing to receive it, these are gifts from God released only to those who trust Him completely. When you place your confidence in your own understanding, you delay the rewriting. But when you place your confidence in God, every principle of provision flows in your favor. The world cannot give you what God is preparing. The hands of man cannot provide what heaven has decreed. Your breakthrough is spiritual first and financial second. And as your financial record is rewritten, watch for the power of multiplication. God does not only restore what was lost, He multiplies it. What seemed like a small talent or skill, a minor connection, a forgotten idea, God can transform it into a source of great provision. Every act of faith, every seed sown in obedience, every step you took, even when it seemed futile, God multiplies it. You will experience increase in unexpected ways. Relationships that open doors, ideas that attract capital, opportunities that exceed your imagination. This is the nature of divine rewriting. God does not merely compensate, He exceeds expectations. Your financial record will not simply be balanced, it will overflow. Do not fear comparison. Do not envy the success of others. God's rewriting is unique, tailored to you, and timed perfectly. Someone else's breakthrough does not limit yours. The delays you see are not denials. They are divine preparation. Your blessing will come exactly when it should, in the magnitude that God has ordained, and in the manner that will bring glory to His name. Do not settle for less because you are impatient. Do not doubt because you cannot see the full picture. Trust the unseen. Obey the voice that calls you, and let the hand of God write without interference from fear, doubt, or comparison. There are people who think that prayer alone is enough, but let me tell you, God's rewriting is activated by a combination of faith and action. Prayer opens the door, but action walks through it. Faith is the key, but diligence is the vehicle. God honors those who move. He does not bless laziness, excuses, or passivity. He blesses obedience, initiative, and persistence. Even when the path seems unclear, even when the balance looks empty, even when the world says stop, God says move forward. Your financial record is being rewritten, but you must walk in the steps that faith creates. Do not wait for the entire road to appear. Take the step God calls you to today. You are entering a time when limitations will no longer have a voice. Depths that whispered doubt will vanish. Opportunities that were invisible will appear. Doors that were shut will open. God is rewriting your record to reflect abundance, authority, and influence. You will no longer live paycheck to paycheck, hand to mouth. You will no longer struggle in silence. The records of your life will reflect divine provision, and every account of lack will be transformed into an account of favor. This is not luck. It is the deliberate work of God. This is not coincidence. It is the strategy of heaven. This is your season of a rewrite. And as God rewrites, He will also expand your capacity to receive. Some of you have been limited not by the lack of resources, but by the limits in your own thinking. God is enlarging your mind, increasing your capacity to handle wealth, to manage resources, and to distribute provision. You will think bigger, dream higher, and act with greater courage. You will no longer be intimidated by abundance because God is training you to steward it. You are not simply entering a season of more, you are entering a season of greater wisdom, greater influence, and greater impact. The rewriting is not just external, it is internal. God is shaping you into the person capable of carrying His provision with integrity and power. Do not be discouraged by setbacks. Do not be silenced by failure. Every obstacle you face is an opportunity for God to rewrite a stronger, more compelling story. Every financial challenge, every delay, every closed door is a setup for a breakthrough that will exceed your imagination. God does not write the stories of defeat. He writes the stories of victory. Your record may have shown losses before, but from this moment forward, it will reflect divine increase. You will witness transformation that will astonish you, your family, and everyone around you. The testimony of your life will become evidence that God alone rewrites destinies and provides abundantly for those who trust Him. So now, lift your eyes and lift your heart, for the time of waiting is over. The same God who has watched over you, who has heard every whispered prayer, who has observed every seed you have sown in hope, is now releasing the fullness of His provision into your life. Your financial record, once marked by struggle, limitation, and delay, has been rewritten by the hand of the Almighty. The pages of lack are torn away, and in their place, God has written abundance, overflow, and divine favor. Do not limit this moment with doubt. Do not shrink back into fear or hesitation. Walk boldly into the reality that God has prepared for you. Speak life over your finances, act with faith in your ventures, give with a generous heart, and trust that every step you take is under divine guidance. The doors that were closed will open, the resources that were hidden will be revealed. The opportunities that seem distant will arrive at your feet. What was lost is being restored. What was broken is being rebuilt. What was delayed is arriving in perfect timing. Remember this. Your abundance is not an accident. It is not luck. It is not merely hard work. It is the deliberate divine rewriting of your destiny by the one who holds all power, wisdom, and authority. You are no longer defined by the limits of yesterday. You are no longer bound by the scarcity of the past. You are being elevated into a life of provision, purpose, and blessing that reflect the glory and power of God. Walk in faith, speak with authority, act with confidence, keep with joy, receive with gratitude. And know without a shadow of doubt that God is not just giving you resources, He is giving you the testimony of His power, the witness of His faithfulness, and the proof that He alone is the author of all increase. The financial record of your life has been rewritten, and your season of overflow has arrived. Rejoice, rise, and step into the abundance that God has already prepared for you. Listen to me carefully. For there is a shift that is about to take place after the 17th of November. God said, tell my people that 4 things will begin to unfold after this appointed time. My spirit trembles as I release this word, because it is not the word of man, it is a word born in the presence of the Almighty. When God speaks about the specific time, it is because heaven has marked it. The 17th of November is not an ordinary day. It is a divine threshold, a spiritual gate, a moment when destinies will be rearranged, when doors that refuse to open will suddenly swing wide, when hearts that were weary will be lifted by the mighty wind of God's favor. For months, some of you have been in waiting. You have prayed, you have cried, you have held on when it made no sense to hold on. You have felt like heaven was silent. You looked around and saw no movement, no change, no answer. But hear me, silence does not mean absence. When God is silent, He is working in the background, writing the next chapter of your story. He is setting the table, preparing the oil, and positioning you for divine unveiling. The 17th of November is the moment when hidden works will be revealed. And God said, after the 17th, 4 things will begin to happen among my people. The first thing He said, there will be a release from what has been holding you, a release from what has been choking your peace, a release from every delay that was not of His will. Many have been trapped in invisible prisons, financial prisons, emotional prisons, spiritual prisons. But God said, I am breaking the chains of captivity, for I have heard the groan of my people. You see, sometimes God allows your hands to be tied so that you stop depending on your strength. Sometimes He allows the pressure to increase so that your surrender deepens. But when your surrender is complete, release must come. After the 17th, many will feel as though a heavy stone has been rolled away from their lives. The blockages will vanish. The fear that once controlled you will lose its grip. The people who held you back will fade out of your story. God will lift you from the ground of waiting and place you on the mountain of manifestation. And God said this release will not be quiet, it will be visible. Those who doubted you will see it. Those who mocked you will be witnesses to your rising. For when God releases you, He does not do it in a corner. He does it before those who thought it would never happen. This release will not come by the hand of man. It will come by the invisible power of God's timing. Doors will open without explanation. Opportunities will find you. Favor will locate you like a magnet. You will realize that the waiting was never a waste. It was preparation for release. The second thing God said will happen after the 17th of November is reversal. God said, I will reverse the verdicts that were spoken against my people. Many have been living under human conclusion. People said, you will never rise again. Systems rejected you. Voices declared that it was over. But God said, I am overturning the words of man, for I alone have the final say. After the 17th, expect divine reversals. What was meant for your destruction will turn for your elevation. The very situation that humiliated you will become the reason for your testimony. You will walk into places that once rejected you and find that the door has been unlocked. People will call your name, not to shame you, but to bless you. God is about to rewrite the narrative of your life. There is a reversal of losses coming. The things that slip from your hands, relationship, resources, peace, God said, I am restoring them with interest. The years the enemy devoured will be paid back. The tears you shed in the dark will become seeds of joy in the morning. God does not forget the tears of His faithful ones. They are stored in His remembrance, and the time for reversal has come. The third thing God said will happen after the 17th is recognition. The hidden ones will be revealed. The overlooked will be celebrated. The people who have labored in silence, who gave their best but were ignored, will suddenly find themselves recognized by divine favor. For too long, many have carried the greatness that no one saw. You gave, you helped, you worked, but no one acknowledged you. God said, I have seen your labor in secret, and I will reward you openly. When God decides to lift a person, no human can stop it. Recognition is not about applause. It is about divine acknowledgement. It is when heaven says, now is your time. After the 17th, many will step into positions they never applied for. They will receive calls they never expected. Their names will be mentioned in places they have never been. Why? Because God's hand will rest upon them in visible glory. Recognition is a divine signal that your season has changed. When God wants to reveal you, He orchestrates circumstances that push you into visibility. People will begin to say, where have you been? And you will say, I was in the cave waiting for God's time. This recognition will not be prideful, it will be purposeful. God is lifting those who will use their recognition to glorify Him, not themselves. But listen carefully. With the recognition comes responsibility. God does not elevate to entertain. He elevates to entrust. When He reveals you, He expects you to carry His light with humility. The recognition that is coming will test your heart. Do not forget the nights of obscurity when the spotlight finds you. Remain anchored in gratitude for what God reveals. He can also conceal again. Then God said, the fourth thing that will happen after the 17th of November is realignment. This is a serious word. God said, I will begin to separate my people from the wrong connection. I will realign hearts, paths, and purposes. Many have been stuck because they are surrounded by people who no longer belong in their destiny. Some have carried a relationship that expired long ago. Some have remained in environments that drain their faith, not feed it. God said, after the 17th, I will begin to move people out of your life, not to hurt you, but to heal you. Realignment means that everything that does not fit your next level will begin to fall away. The wrong people will distance themselves without confrontation. The opportunities that are not aligned with your calling will close by themselves. The doors that were distractions will shut tightly. Do not mourn what God removes. Thank Him. Because everything He subtracts, He does so to multiply your peace. Everything He ends to begin something greater. This realignment will bring clarity. Some of you have been confused, uncertain about what direction to take. But after the 17th, light will shine on your path. God will make things clear. He will separate your will from His will. He will remove noise so you can hear His whisper. And when you see people or things exit your life unexpectedly, do not panic. It is not rejection. It is redirection. God is protecting your destiny from contamination. Now, listen. These 4 things, release, reversal, recognition, and realignment, are not random occurrences. They are divine responses to your faithfulness in the hidden season. You did not give up when others quit. You prayed when it felt like a prayer was useless. You believed when your situation gave you no reason to believe. God saw it all. He saw your tears, your loyalty, your perseverance. And now He's saying, I am ready to reward what no one else saw. There is a reason. He chose the 17th. God always works with the divine timing. Every number, every date has meaning in His calendar. 17 symbolizes victory after struggle, restoration after warfare, and manifestation of divine promises. It is the number of overcoming, over moving from pain into purpose. That is why after the 17th, things will begin to move rapidly. What took years will happen in days. What you were chasing will start chasing you. Because when God's time arrives, delay expires. Some of you will feel a stirring in your spirit even before that date. You will feel unusual peace, unexpected joy, or a new level of boldness. That is the sign that the spiritual atmosphere is shifting. Heaven is aligning things for your manifestation. Do not ignore these inner signals. They are the whispers of God preparing your heart for what He is about to do. Stay in prayer. Stay in expectancy. Do not get distracted by what you see in the physical. Everything happening around you now is a setup for the unveiling. After the 17th, new relationship will begin. Some of you will meet destiny helpers, people ordained to push you into your calling. Others will experience divine ideas, sudden inspiration, or creative direction that changes everything. God said, I will pour new oil on old vessels. You will feel renewed strength, a deeper hunger for truth, and a sharper sense of purpose. This is not emotional excitement, it is divine empowerment. And God also said, those who mocked my people will regret it. Those who laughed at your struggles will watch your elevation in silence. Not because you wish them harm, but because God will make your life a testimony of His power. He will lift you so high that they will know it could only have been His doing. The same mouth that said impossible will confess God has done it. The reversal will be undeniable. When God decides to move, He does not ask for permission. He does not consult your past to determine your future. He does not negotiate with your enemies. He moves according to His purpose. And His purpose for you is unstoppable. The storms that try to drown you were never sent to destroy you. They were sent to prove your foundation. And because you stood firm, God is about to reward you with stability. But there is something important. Before the 17th arrives, God is asking for preparation. You must cleanse your heart from bitterness, forgive those who hurt you, and release the weight of the past. You cannot carry old wounds into a new season. God will not pour fresh oil into a polluted vessel. Purify your thoughts, lay down grudges, make peace with what happened. The past is over, it served its purpose. Now prepare for what is coming. God also said, tell my people to expect speed. After the 17th, things will happen so quickly that your mind will struggle to catch up. Long-standing prayers will receive sudden answers. Delayed blessings will appear without warning. Doors that were locked will open in succession. It will be as if heaven has placed acceleration on your destiny. But this speed will not bring confusion. It will bring confirmation that your season has arrived. Many will also experience separation, not just from people, but from old versions of themselves. You will feel your desires change. What used to satisfy you will no longer interest you. What used to intimidate you will no longer scare you. You will realize that God has matured you through pain. The old you had to die for the new you to emerge. And after the 17th, you will walk in a strength you did not know you had. God said, I am restoring the confidence of my people. Some of you have been crushed by disappointment. You stopped expecting good things because you got tired of being let down. But God said, I am renewing their hope. You will wake up after that day with a renewed sense of faith. You will look at your future and feel peace again. You will begin to dream again, to believe again, to trust again. For this is not the end, it is a divine reset. After the 17th, some will receive messages, calls, or opportunities that change everything. You will not have to chase them. They will come to you. God is sending reminders that He has not forgotten you. He is aligning the right people at the right time. You will notice divine coincidences, meetings, encounters, or messages that confirm His word. Pay attention. God will speak through small things to confirm great promises. There will also be a wave of correction. God said, I will deal with hidden pride among my people. He will humble hearts that have forgotten dependence. He will expose motives that are impure, not to destroy, but to cleanse. Because He cannot pour new glory into polluted vessels. So if in this season you feel conviction or discomfort, do not resist it. It is God preparing you for expansion. And after this divine correction, God said there will be divine compensation. Every sacrifice that seemed unnoticed, every offering of obedience that looked wasted, He will repay. You will see how nothing was in vain. Even your delays were not denials. They were divine investments. After the 17th, those seeds will begin to yield fruit. You may have been hidden, but God never forgets a seed. And when the rain of favor falls, even the smallest seed will break through the ground. That rain is coming, that favor is approaching. It will come quietly, but when it arrives, it will transform everything. After the 17th, there will also be exposure. God said, I will expose false intentions and hidden enemies. Those who smiled at you but plotted behind you will be revealed. You will see the truth without seeking it. This is protection, not punishment. God will clear the environment around you so that no hidden darkness remains. It is better to be lonely in truth than surrounded by deception. And in the same season, God will elevate voices of purity. Those who speak truth with humility will be given greater influence. Those who have kept their integrity through trials will shine brighter. This is not the time for arrogance, it is a time for purity. The power coming after the 17th will rest only on those who walk with clean hands and faithful hearts. Listen closely, because what God is about to do after the 17th will not be ordinary. It will be personal, purposeful, and prophetic. The atmosphere of your life will change. You will sense a divine rearranging in the unseen realm. You will look around and realize that what used to resist you is now working in your favor. God is shifting the wind. The same wind that once pushed against you will begin to carry you. You will not struggle to climb anymore. You will rise by divine momentum. For when God says it is your time, no force in heaven or on earth can delay it. God said, I have waited for my people to trust me beyond what they can see. Too many have believed only when they could understand. But God is not understood. He is revealed. His ways are not logical. They are spiritual. He moves in silence before He moves in sight. And after the 17th, you will understand why the silence lasted so long. You will see that the pain had purpose, that the delay was design, that the confusion was construction. God was not punishing you. He was positioning you. Every disappointment was divine direction. Every closed door was a form of protection. And now, the pieces will begin to make sense. This is the hour when God will separate those who merely spoke about faith from those who actually lived by it. For faith is not proven when things are easy. Faith is proven when nothing makes sense and yet you still believe. You have walked through nights of uncertainty. You have wondered if the promise would ever come. But now, God says, because you kept believing when others stopped, I will honor your endurance. After the 17th, your faith will bear fruit. You will witness what happened when a person refused to give up on God's word. Do not underestimate what one moment in divine timing can do. A single day in the calendar of heaven can erase years of struggle. God does not need much time. He only needs your alignment. When you are aligned with His will, acceleration begins. And this acceleration is not natural. It is supernatural. You will not have to strive for it. You will simply step into it. It will be as though unseen hands are guiding your every step. Things that were once complicated will suddenly become simple. Paths that were crooked will straighten. Because when God breathes on your season, ease replaces effort. But God is also saying, do not let comfort make you careless. The blessings that are coming are not just the rewards. They are responsibilities. God is entrusting you with more so that you can represent His goodness more powerfully. You are not being elevated for applause. You are being elevated for assignment. When favor comes, remember the purpose behind it. When you are lifted, lift others. When you receive, become a channel. The purpose of abundance is not self-indulgence, but divine influence. After the 17th, many will feel a stirring, an inner pull toward what truly matters. The noise of the world will begin to lose its grip. You will feel drawn to silence, to reflection, to communion with God. That is because He is calling His people back to intimacy. The next move of God will not begin in crowds. It will begin in hearts. He is searching for those who desire His presence more than His gifts, who seek His will more than His wonders. And those who return to that place of quiet surrender will experience what eyes have not seen and ears have not heard. God said, I am shifting the value system of my people. Many have chased what glitters and ignored what grows. But after the 17th, there will be a divine reset of priorities. What once seemed important will lose its appeal. The desire for worldly validation will be replaced with hunger for truth. The hearts of men will awaken to what truly matters: peace, purity, purpose, and alignment with God. You will find yourself wanting less of what distracts and more of what connects you to Him. And in that shift, something powerful will happen. God will begin to open the eyes of His people to see beyond appearance. You will begin to discern who truly walks with you and who merely walks around you. God will give you eyes that see the invisible and ears that hear the inaudible. You will sense danger before it arrives. You will feel when someone's spirit does not align with yours. This discernment is a shield. It will protect you from deception and direct you toward destiny. After the 17th, expect an increase in spiritual sensitivity. Many will begin to dream more vividly. Others will experience divine signs, unexplainable coincidences, and encounters that confirm their path. These are not to be worshipped, they are to be understood. God is not revealing these things to entertain you. He is guiding you. Pay attention to what He shows you in this season, for even small details will carry great meaning. There will also be a breaking of cycles. God said, I will end repetitive patterns that have kept my people in the same place. The emotional cycles, the financial cycles, the relational cycles, they will come to an end. Where you used to fall, you will now stand. Where you used to fear, you will now act with courage. The power that held you in loops of limitation will lose authority. You will find yourself doing with ease what once felt impossible. Because when God breaks a cycle, He replaces it with a new rhythm, a rhythm of progress, peace, and power. God said, I am restoring confidence in my timing. Many have lost trust in divine seasons because they grew tired of waiting. But soon you will see that the wait was worth it. Every delay was building something within you that instant answers could not. Maturity is not born from convenience. It is born from endurance. And those who endured will now be trusted with a greater weight of purpose. God never gives big blessings to unprepared hearts. He first strengthens the vessel, then pours the oil. This is why the pain had to last. It was refining you. It was killing pride, birthing humility, and teaching wisdom. You had to learn how to walk with God, not just talk about Him. You had to experience dependency, so that when blessings come, you will not forget who sent them. Every tear was training. Every delay was discipline. And now that the lesson has been learned, the reward will be released. After the 17th, the atmosphere will carry favor for new beginnings. Projects that were stuck will start moving. Ideas that seemed too big will suddenly find support. People who once ignored you will now look for you. Not because you changed, but because your time has come. The same seed that was buried will now sprout. The soil has shifted. The conditions are now right. And when God declares a season ripe, nothing can withhold its harvest. But remember, as blessings rise, so does responsibility. Guard your heart. The enemy will attempt to plant pride in the soil of success. Stay humble, for humility multiplies favor, but pride cancels it. Keep your motives pure. Refuse to compare your journey with others. What God is doing in your life is unique. Comparison will kill your gratitude. Gratitude, however, will magnify your blessing. In this coming season, the wisdom of God will become your greatest asset. You will need discernment to navigate open doors, because not every opportunity is divine. Some doors open to distract, others open to direct. Pray not for more doors, but for the wisdom to know which one to walk through. When God opens a door, it will bring peace, not confusion. It will draw you closer to His purpose, not farther from it. God said, I will expose what is false to establish what is true. You will begin to see clearly who you can build with and who you must bless from a distance. This is not cruelty, it is clarity. Not everyone can walk where you are going. When elevation comes, separation follows. Let it happen. Let God choose who stays and who leaves. The pruning is not punishment, it is preparation for fruitfulness. After the 17th, your relationship with the time itself will change. You will no longer feel behind. The regret of lost years will dissolve because God is about to redeem time. What took others 10 years will take you one. What seemed impossible will be completed effortlessly. Divine acceleration will rewrite the pace of your destiny. You will sense that heaven has placed its hand on your shoulder and whisper, now move. And when you move in obedience, things will align with astonishing speed. God also said, I am releasing strategies, not just blessings. This is not the time to pray for miracles only. It is time to receive divine blueprints. He will give you insight into how to build, where to invest, what to pursue, and what to leave. The ideas that come to your mind in this period will not be random. They will be inspired by God to position you for the future. Write them down, pray over them, execute them in obedience. For these ideas carry the seed of transformation. You will also notice that your words carry more power. What you declare will begin to manifest faster. This is because God is increasing the authority of your voice. Be careful then with your speech. Speak life, not fear. Declare abundance, not lack. Words create atmosphere. And in this season, your words are weapons. Use them with faith and precision. Speak what aligns with God's will, and you will see results that defy logic. In these coming days, you will also witness divine justice. God said, I will settle accounts. Those who try to harm you will face the consequence of their choices, and those who blessed you will receive multiplied blessings. You will see fairness restored in situations that once felt unfair. But remember, do not rejoice in someone else's downfall. Rejoice that truth prevails. God is not vindictive. He is just. When He balances the scales, He does it to restore order, not to entertain revenge. And through all this, keep your heart anchored. Do not let sudden blessings distract you from the giver. Remember who sustained you when you had nothing. Remember who comforted you when no one understood. The purpose of this season is not to make you comfortable, but to make you closer. Everything that is coming, the release, the reversal, the recognition, and the realignment is meant to draw you deeper into dependence on God. This is the moment to lift your head high and walk with quiet confidence. You are not waiting anymore. You are entering. You are stepping into what has been prepared for you all along. The storms have passed. The lessons have been learned. And the promise is about to manifest. Hold your peace. Hold your faith. And hold your focus. God's hand is upon you. And His word never returns empty. After the 17th, the world may look the same, but your life will not, because something unseen will shift within you. The chains of doubt will break. The fog of confusion will lift. The weight of delay will disappear. You will stand in new light, the light of purpose, of clarity, of divine fulfillment. And when others ask, what changed? You will smile and say, God moved. Listen, because what is coming is not a mere season, it is a divine recalibration of destiny. After the 17th, the old patterns will lose their power and new pathways will appear. The atmosphere around your life will no longer tolerate the limitation. God is about to breathe fresh wind into dry situation. You will feel it in your spirit, that holy stirring, that deep sense that something is shifting. It will not be imagination, it will be divine confirmation. The same God who called light out of darkness will call purpose out of your process. This is the hour when the unseen become visible. God has been building you quietly in hidden places. While others ran ahead, He kept you in training. While others sought visibility, He was giving you depth. And now the season of unveiling has arrived. God never reveals what is unready. When He hides you, it is not rejection, it is refinement. You have been refined by fire, and now you will emerge pure as gold. The delay was never denial, it was divine incubation. After the 17th, God will begin to reorder the landscape of your life. People who once overlooked you will be drawn to you without knowing why. Situations that once resisted you will now cooperate with you. This is what happens when divine timing meets divine purpose. You will not have to explain your breakthrough. It will explain itself. When the favor of God rests on a person, effort turns into ease. Struggle turns into strategy. And pain turns into power. God said, I am removing the veil that covered the eyes of my people. For too long, many have seen through the lens of fear, scarcity, and failure. But now, a new vision is being released. You will see yourself as God sees you, capable, chosen, and equipped. The labels that people gave you will lose their hold. The lies that life told you will dissolve. When God defines you, no opinion can confine you. You are not what happened to you. You are what God is doing through you. This new vision will not only change how you see yourself, but how you see others. God is releasing discernment to recognize divine connections. You will begin to notice people whose presence carries peace, whose words carry wisdom, and whose hearts carry light. These are destiny companions sent by God. Value them. They are the bridges to your next level. But also, you will recognize those who drain your faith and disturb your focus. God is giving you courage to let them go, not with anger, but with understanding. Some people belong to your history, not your destiny. And when separation comes, remember this: divine subtraction is a form of addition. Every time God removes someone, He is making space for something greater. Every closed chapter prepares you for a new revelation. Stop mourning over what God has already replaced in His plan. The silence that follows separation is not emptiness, it is cleansing. God is clearing the stage for a new performance of His glory in your life. After the 17th, you will sense a new clarity in decision making. The confusion that clouded your path will lift. You will begin to move with an unusual confidence. You will no longer question every step because you will feel the steady assurance of divine direction. This confidence will not come from pride. It will come from peace, the kind of peace that only God can give. You will know deep within that you are being led by something greater than your logic. God said, I am rewriting the script of destiny for those who trust me. Many thought your story was over, but they did not know that God is the author. He writes chapters that the world cannot predict. What looks like an ending to others is often an introduction in His plan. The 17th marks a transition from surviving to thriving, from waiting to walking, from hoping to harvesting. You are stepping into fulfillment. But let me speak truth. This transition will require obedience. God will give instruction that test your faith. He may tell you to move when it feels risky, to give when it seems unreasonable, to forgive when it feels impossible. Obedience is the language of faith. When you move in alignment, heaven moves in agreement. Those who trust God without full understanding are the ones who experience His fullness. After the 17th, obedience will open doors that talent never could. God is also releasing divine ideas. These are not random thoughts. They are assignments in disguise. They will come suddenly, like flashes of light in your spirit. They will carry peace, clarity, and power. Write them down, pray over them, act on them. Many breakthroughs will be born through obedience to small instructions. The wisdom of God will enter the marketplace, the home, the mind, and the heart. What the world calls innovation is often the reflection of a divine inspiration. And hear this, after the 17th, God will begin to expose imitation. Those who pretend to walk in light but serve their own pride will be revealed. This is not for punishment, but for purification. God is cleansing the atmosphere around His people. The counterfeit must be exposed so that the authentic can emerge. Do not fear exposure truth, never fears light. Only falsehood hides from illumination. When God shines light on your life, it is because He is about to expand it. There will also be a rise in divine boldness. The timidity that kept you silent, break. You will speak with clarity, stand with courage, and act with conviction. God is raising a generation of people who no longer seek validation but carry revelation. You will move with quiet confidence, not arrogance. Because when you walk with God, you no longer need to prove yourself. Your peace becomes your proof. After the 17th, God said, I will place distinction upon those who have walked with me faithfully. Distinction means visible difference, not by wealth or status, but by wisdom, peace, and light. You will stand out, not because you try to, but because you cannot hide what God has illuminated. This distinction will draw opportunities, but it will also attract envy. Do not respond to jealousy. Respond with gratitude. Envy is evidence that your light is shining. Stay humble. Stay focused. The same God who lifts you will sustain you. And as this purification happens, your prayers will gain new strength. You will no longer pray out of desperation, but out of revelation. You will speak to God as one who knows He listens. The fear of unanswered prayer will disappear, replaced by confidence in divine timing. God is not deaf to your cries. He is deliberate in His timing. What He delays, He intends to perfect. After the 17th, do not be surprised if certain doors close abruptly. These are not losses. They are divine protections. God shuts some doors to prevent you from walking into destruction, disguised as opportunity. You will thank Him later for what He did not allow. Remember, sometimes the greatest blessings come in the form of denied request. Trust that His wisdom is greater than your desire. My friend, listen to me. God says, this is the end of your tough time. Not tomorrow, not next year, not after another storm. Now, the heavens have already written a decree, and the decree says, enough Enough of the tears that fall in secret. Enough of the pain that has worn your spirit thin. Enough of the waiting that felt endless. Enough of the nights when you questioned whether God had forgotten you. God says, this is the end. You have reached the turning point of your destiny, and from this moment forward, everything begins to shift in your favor. You see, when God speaks, time itself listens. When God declares an end to your struggle, creation rearranges itself to honor His word. Every closed door begins to tremble. Every mountain begins to move. And every force that stood against you begins to bow. God is not silent today. He is saying, your season of sorrow is over. Your time of trial has served its purpose. Now I will lift you. I will establish you. I will prove that I was with you all along. There were moments when you thought your prayers were lost in the wind. There were moments when you felt unseen, unheard, unnoticed. But God was never far. He was observing the test of your faith, watching how you endure the breaking, the delays, the disappointments, and the rejections. He saw how you did not quit even when your heart was bleeding. He saw how you kept believing even when nothing made sense. That faith has spoken for you. That perseverance has reached heaven. And now heaven responds with the power. God is announcing an end to the drought, an end to the silence, an end to the inner war you've been fighting. Do not look at your circumstance anymore. They are about to lie to you. They will look the same for a moment, but everything invisible is already changing. The roots of your suffering are being cut off. The forces that held you in delay are losing strength. You may not feel it yet, but the shift has begun. This is how God works quietly, suddenly, and completely. The same way morning replaced the night without noise, God is replacing your sorrow with peace, your fear with faith, your loss with restoration. For some of you, the struggle was not financial, it was emotional. You were tired of pretending to be strong, tired of fighting unseen battles. You were carrying weights that no one else could see. And yet, through it all, you did not curse God. You whispered through your tears, I will still trust you. And that whisper reached Him. That whisper became a seed. And today, God is watering that seed with favor. He is saying, I saw how you endured. I saw how you loved when you were unloved. I saw how you gave when you had nothing left. Now I will reward you openly. My friend, the season of breaking was never punishment. It was preparation. God was building endurance in you, patience in you, strength in you. You were being stretched, not destroyed. You were being pruned, not rejected. You were being hidden, not forgotten. Everything that seemed like a delay was actually divine timing. God does not rush His masterpiece. He allows pressure to produce purity, pain to produce purpose, and silence to produce strength. And now, after all that has been forged in the fire, He says, enough. When God says enough, all of creation echoes it. You will start to notice divine coincidences, doors opening that once were sealed shut, people coming into your life who carry keys, situations that suddenly turn around. You will sense peace returning to your mind. You will feel a new strength rising within your heart. You will wake up one morning and realize something has changed. That is the mark of divine intervention. That is how God moves. But hear me clearly. God does not end a tough time without a reason. Every trial He ends carries a testimony. Every storm He calms carries a revelation. You were never meant to go through the fire and come out empty. You were meant to come out refined, wiser, and filled with the divine authority. God allowed the pain so that when He lifts you, you will not boast in yourself, but in His power. The tough time was the soil where humility and the faith were born. Now that they have taken root, God can trust you with the blessings that will not destroy you. For some of you, this tough time came because you prayed dangerous prayers. You asked God to take you higher, to make you stronger, to use you for His glory. And God answered that prayer not with ease, but with endurance. He removed the things you thought you needed so He could show you what you truly need Him. He allowed loneliness so you could find companionship in His presence. He allowed the loss so you could see that nothing earthly defines your worth. He allowed the struggle so your faith could mature beyond emotion. And now, because you endured, He will honor you. There is a rhythm to God's plan. Before every elevation, there is isolation. Before every breakthrough, there is breaking. Before every public victory, there is a private battle. That battle was your classroom. That silence was your teacher. You learned the lessons that no sermon could teach. You learned to rely not on people, not on logic, not on your own strength, but on God. That dependence is your power. That surrender is your weapon. And now, God will use what tried to destroy you as the platform for your destiny. When God says, this is the end of your tough time, He is not just speaking about comfort. He is speaking about transformation. You are about to step into a version of yourself that could only be born through fire. You will no longer carry the same fears, doubts, or insecurities. You will walk with quiet confidence because you have seen what survival looks like. You will not beg for approval anymore because you know who sustains you. You will not chase what left you because you know God replaces better than He removes. You may ask, but how can I believe this when my situation hasn't changed yet? Faith is believing the voice of God above the noise of circumstances. Faith is standing in the middle of the storm and saying, the rain may still be falling, but the season has shifted. Faith does not wait for proof. It creates proof. And when God sees faith, He responds with miracles. The moment you decide to believe that your tough time has ended, the spiritual atmosphere around you changes. The angels of God move on assignment. The power of delay breaks. Some of you are entering a season where things will happen quickly. What took years will suddenly take days. What seemed impossible will suddenly become effortless. Not because you worked harder, but because the wind of God is blowing in your direction. The favor that was hidden is about to find you. The opportunities that were blocked are about to open. You will be surprised at how fast everything shifts once God says, now. But do not forget, when the tough time ends, you must not return to the mindset that created it. Do not go back to doubt. Do not go back to fear. Do not go back to depending on people for what only God can provide. God ended the season so that you could rise above it, not revisit it. Learn the lesson, carry the wisdom, but leave the pain behind, because where God is taking you, all the pain cannot travel. You are not who you were in the beginning of this trial. You have been refined, awakened, and matured. You no longer think like a victim. You think like a victor. You no longer live in reaction. You live in revelation. You no longer seek comfort from others. You carry comfort within. This is what happens when God finishes a tough season. He does not just change your situation, He changes you. There were people who misunderstood you in your season of struggle. They thought your silence was weakness. They thought your delay was defeat. They thought your loss was final. But God allowed it so that when He restores you, no one will be able to take credit. They will have to say, only God could have done this. And He will do it in such a way that even your enemies will have to acknowledge His hand on your life. The same place where you were mocked will become the place where you are celebrated. The same hand that rejected you will wish they had supported you. The same doors that closed on you will open wider than before. God is not only ending your tough time, He is redeeming it. Every tear will become a testimony. Every failure will become wisdom. Every wound will become a weapon. What once broke you will now build you. The most powerful moment in any believer's life is when they realize that God is not late. He is strategic. Every delay, every disappointment, every detour was part of the design. God was protecting you from premature success, from shallow victories, from people who could not handle your future. He was teaching you to wait, to trust, to discern. And now when He says, this is the end, you can stand strong knowing the waiting was worth it. There is something sacred about endurance. When you endure, you inherit authority. You are no longer shaken by small storms because you have seen bigger ones. You are no longer afraid of loss because you have survived emptiness. You are no longer dependent on external validation because you have heard the inner voice of God. That is why your next season will be peaceful, not because life will be perfect, but because you will walk with the perfect trust. Now, as you hear these words, something inside you is awakening. That is the spirit of faith rising again. The heaviness that sat on your chest for months is lifting. The anxiety that kept you awake at night is breaking. You are being strengthened from the inside out. This is not motivation, it is activation. God is activating your destiny, your joy, your courage. He is breathing new life into the dry places of your soul. You will begin to notice signs of confirmation. People you have not heard from will reach out with opportunities. Unexpected doors will open. Situations that were stagnant will suddenly move. Do not call it luck, call it divine timing. This is the reward for your endurance. This is the fruit of your faithfulness. God has remembered you, and when God remembers, everything changes. Every tough time has an expiration date, and yours has arrived. The same way winter cannot stop the coming of spring, darkness cannot stop the dawn that God has commanded. The tough time has done its work. It has shaped your character and purified your motives. You are now ready for divine abundance. You are ready to see the goodness of God in ways you've never seen before. You are ready to walk in peace that cannot be shaken, favor that cannot be denied, and joy that cannot be stolen. This is not the end of your story. It is the end of your struggle. It is not the end of your purpose. It is the end of your pain. From this moment on, every day will reveal why you had to go through what you went through. Every day will uncover a layer of meaning, a trace of divine wisdom hidden in your journey. You will look back and realize that nothing was wasted. Every heartbreak, every delay, every disappointment was a brushstroke in the painting of your destiny. When God decided that your season of suffering has reached its limit, no force in the universe can extend it a second longer. What once chained your progress begins to release you. What once broke your heart begins to heal you. What once made you cry begins to make you wiser. Because when God declares a shift, creation itself bent to obey. The pain that seemed endless suddenly turns into clarity. The confusion that clouded your mind begins to lift. The same valley that once buried your hope becomes the ground where new strength is born. You begin to see that every tear you shed was watering the soil of your next victory. Listen to me, this is not a small shift. This is a divine conclusion. God is not patching up your old life. He is building something entirely new. You will not go back to where you were before the pain. You will not fit into old environment that could no longer contain your purpose. The discomfort you've been feeling is not a sign of failure. It's the birth pain of transformation. God has been stretching you, not breaking you. He has been removing what could not grow with you. Every ending that hurt you was making space for something greater. And now, he says, the tough time has done its job. The season of pruning is complete. Step into the new that I have prepared. Many people misinterpret silence as absence, but God's silence is never abandonment. It is the sacred classroom of faith. When He hides His hand, it is not because He has left you. It is because He is testing what He placed inside you. You prayed for strength, and He gave you challenges. You prayed for faith, and He gave you delays. You prayed for discernment, and He allowed the deception to test your spirit. Each of these moments was not meant to harm you, but to mature you. And now that the lesson has been learned, He says, peace, be still. The storm is over. The silence has served its purpose. Do not underestimate what you endured. You survived what should have broken you. You held on when everything told you to give up. You kept walking when the past disappeared beneath your feet. That is not weakness. That is evidence of divine favor. God does not allow the battle to continue beyond what your spirit can carry. You thought you were being crushed, but you were being crowned. You thought you were losing, but you were being prepared. The waiting was not punishment. It was protection. God was making sure that when He lifts you, you will not fall again. Now, as this tough time ends, you must prepare your heart for increase. When God ends a storm, He does not just restore, He multiplies. He does not just return what was lost. He redeemed the years that were stolen. He does not just bring you out, He brings you higher. But to receive that, your heart must be ready. You cannot enter a new season with an old mindset. You cannot step into abundance with the mentality of lack. You cannot receive divine peace if you still cling to all the fears. The tough time was not meant to just change your circumstances. It was meant to renew your mind. For too long, you have looked at what you lost. But now, God says, look at what you are becoming. The losses were necessary to reveal your true value. The rejection was divine redirection. The closed doors were signs that your destiny was not inside them. The betrayals were purification, not punishment. Every person who left was meant to leave so that your next chapter could begin without distraction. God saw what you could not see. He saw the weight of certain connection, the hidden traps of comfort, the poison of approval. So He allowed the separation to create elevation. And now you will rise differently. You will speak with wisdom that only pain can teach. You will walk with a calmness that only storms can produce. You will love with a discernment that only heartbreak can reveal. You will not chase validation. You will attract the respect. You will not fight for attention. You will walk in divine confidence. Because when you know that God has ended your tough time, you stop begging for peace. You carry it wherever you go. There are moments when the transition feels strange. You begin to sense that the old version of yourself no longer fits. The things that once entertained you now seem meaningless. The people you once relied on no longer understand your language. That's because God is elevating your frequency. You are being tuned to a higher vibration of purpose. The conversations you used to enjoy now drain you because your spirit is evolving. You are not better than anyone else. You are simply being called to greater alignment with God's design for your life. When God declares the end of your tough time, He's not only changing your environment, He's upgrading your perception. You will begin to notice blessings that were always there but hidden behind the fog of pain. You will start to feel grateful for what once hurt you because now you see its divine purpose. You will look at the same people, the same places, the same life, and suddenly everything looks different because you are different. God's grace changes not only what you have, but how you see what you have. Do not be surprised if your peace disturbs others. There are people who thrived on your struggle, who found comfort in your brokenness. They will not understand your calm, your silence, your strength. But do not explain yourself. Let your transformation speak for itself. Let your peace be your proof that God has done what no one else could do. You owe no one an explanation for your healing. You owe no one an apology for your restoration. When God ends the tough season, He gives you authority over it. And that authority does not require approval. My friend, this is the season where God will show you why you had to cry, why you had to wait, why you had to be alone. He is connecting the dots in ways your human mind could never comprehend. What once felt random will now reveal its rhythm. What once felt meaningless will now expose its message. You will see how perfectly everything was orchestrated for your growth. Every disappointment had direction. Every failure had formation. Every delay had divine intention. You will say, now I understand. God's wisdom is often wrapped in pain because pain removes distractions. When everything is comfortable, you stop listening. But when everything breaks, you fall to your knees. And that is when God whispers truth into your soul. He does not shout over your comfort. He speaks through your discomfort. That's why your breaking point was not the end. It was the moment you became teachable. The moment you said, God, I can't do this alone, He began rewriting your story. And now you stand at the border between your past and your promise. You can feel it, a subtle peace, a quiet assurance. You no longer feel desperate, but ready. That's how you know the tough time is truly over. When God ends a season, He replaces striving with stillness. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop worrying and start witnessing. The very energy around you changes because the favor of God has settled upon you. There is one thing you must do now. Guard your peace. Protect what God has restored. Do not let old voices pull you back into old battles. Do not let fear disguise itself as caution. You survive too much to start doubting again. Speak what you want to see. Declare what God has already spoken. Walk as if you already have what you prayed for. Because in the unseen realm, it is already done. And let me tell you this truth. When God brings you out of a tough time, He often does it in a way that surprises everyone, even you. It will not come through the same path you expected. It may come through a conversation, a random opportunity, a shift in your heart. God specializes in the unexpected. He hides blessings in ordinary moments. That's why you must remain sensitive. What looks small may carry your next breakthrough. What looks insignificant may be the door to your destiny. The toughest times in life are never wasted because they make your faith unshakable. You look back and say, if I survive that, I can survive anything. That unbreakable confidence is not arrogance, it is divine awareness. You will no longer fear loss because you know the one who restores. You will no longer fear failure because you understand that failure is just another chapter in the story of faith. You will no longer fear people because you know that no one can stop what God has ordained. The shift is happening now. You are not waiting for a miracle. You are standing in one. The change you prayed for is already in motion. Heaven has already responded to your endurance. You may not see it yet, but you will feel it in your spirit, a calm, a deep sense that the struggle is over. That is not imagination, that is confirmation. God does not tease His children with false hope. If peace has entered your heart, it is because breakthrough has entered your path. When God says your tough time has ended, it is not just a change in your circumstance, it is a shift in the atmosphere around your destiny. The spiritual tension that surrounded your life begins to loosen. The unseen weight that pressed upon your spirit begins to lift. You begin to sense that something has broken in the unseen realm. It is as if a door that was sealed shut for years has been unlocked by the hand of God Himself. The same wind that once carried storms now carries blessings. The same path that once felt heavy now feels light beneath your feet. This is the mystery of divine timing. When God speaks, even the invisible obeys. There were seasons when you were asking God, when will this end? And heaven remained silent. You thought perhaps you were forgotten, but you were being refined in silence. You were being forged in divine fire. You were being shaped into a vessel that could handle the greatness that was coming. If God had given you what you prayed for when you first asked, it might have destroyed you. But now, after the breaking, the molding, and the waiting, you are ready. You are prepared to carry what He is about to release. God never delays to deny, He delays to develop. And now that development has reached its completion. There is a sacred pattern in every breakthrough. Before the light comes, the longest night. Right before the end of a tough time, the battle always intensifies. The moment you are closest to deliverance is the moment opposition grows strongest. That is how you know your breakthrough is near. The enemy does not fight what is failing, he fights what is rising. And you, my friend, are rising. The intensity you have been feeling was not punishment. It was the signal of your promotion. The final test always comes before divine elevation. But today, God declares that you have passed the test. Now, listen carefully. When God ends a tough time, He does not just bring you relief, He brings revelation. You begin to understand why things had to unfold the way they did. You begin to see that nothing was wasted. Every rejection was protection. Every detour was a redirection. Every closed door was a safeguard from premature success. God was not ignoring you. He was organizing your future. He was positioning you where your destiny could find you. The tough time was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to position you for what eyes have not seen and ears have not heard. You see, God never ends one chapter without preparing the next. The pain you endured has become the foundation for wisdom. The tears you cried have become the language of empathy. The silence you walked through has become the birthplace of discernment. You are no longer the same person who entered this struggle. You have been reshaped from the inside out. You carry a new sound, a new presence, a new authority. You have been to the fire and come out refined. You have seen the valley, and now you are ready for the mountain. But hear this truth. When God ends your tough time, He does not want you to simply survive. He wants you to thrive. Many people leave a storm but continue to live as if they are still in it. They hold on to the memory of pain so tightly that they cannot embrace the promise of peace. Do not let that be you. The time of crying is over. The time of doubting is over. The time of merely enduring is over. God is calling you into fullness, into laughter, into boldness. The night has ended. It is time to rise with the morning light. This is the moment to shift your posture. You are no longer the one waiting, you are the one walking into fulfillment. You are no longer the one asking when, you are the one witnessing how. Speak differently, think differently, pray differently. Let your words carry the authority of someone who knows their season has changed. Let your heart release the fear that once held it captive. Let your spirit awaken with expectancy. Because when God declares an end, there is no negotiation. The storm must obey. The burden must lift. The struggle must bow. And I tell you this with conviction. The reason your tough time lasted as long as it did is because God was building capacity within you. Every delay stretched your faith. Every hardship expanded your endurance. Every disappointment deepened your trust. You are being prepared to handle the abundance that would follow. God will never pour a great blessing into a small vessel. He enlarges the vessel first through process, through pressure, through perseverance. And once it is strong enough, He releases the overflow. That is where you stand now, at the edge of overflow. You may have noticed how certain things no longer affect you the way they used to. The same words that once wounded you now roll off your back. The same problems that once stole your sleep no longer shake your peace. That is evidence that your season has changed. God has elevated your inner strength. You are no longer reactive. You are reflective. You are no longer begging for understanding. You are walking in clarity. The struggle that once defined you no longer controls you. This is what it means to be transformed by endurance. Your soul has matured beyond the chaos. And now God will reward you openly for what you endured privately. The prayers that no one knew about, the tears that no one saw, the sacrifices that went unnoticed, all of it has reached His throne. You did not endure in vain. Every hidden act of faith has built a case for divine reward. God is not unjust. He does not forget faithfulness. He counts every tear, every prayer, every moment you chose to trust Him when nothing made sense. And now that season of quiet endurance is giving birth to visible blessing. But remember this, the blessing is not just for comfort, it is for purpose. God did not bring you through the storm just so you could say, I made it. He brought you through so you could guide others through their own. Your testimony will become their survival manual. Your wisdom will become their hope. You will speak to the broken and they will believe you because your words will carry the fragrance of truth. You have walked through the fire, so your voice now carries fire. You have cried in secret, so your compassion now carries weight. God uses the healed to heal. Do not despise what you went through because it produced something eternal in you. It carved out humility, gratitude, and spiritual awareness. You have learned to see God not only in blessings but in battles. You have discovered that His power is not just in miracles, but in endurance. And that revelation can never be taken from you. That is why your next season will not be built on fear, but on faith. You have seen the worst and survived it. Now you will see the best and sustain it. There will be a moment when you still feel the residue of your tough time. You may wake up one morning and feel that old fear whisper again. But do not let it deceive you. It is only a shadow, not substance. The tough time is over. God has already sealed it with His decree. The only power the past holds is the power you give it through memory. So release it. Forgive yourself, forgive others. Let go of the narrative that once defined you. God has written a new one, and it begins with a peace. This is also the season where God will vindicate you. Those who doubted your strength will witness your stability. Those who questioned your faith will see your fruit. Those who mocked your delay will watch your divine acceleration. God is not cruel. He restores with precision. He repays with interest. Every tear you sowed in sorrow will return multiplied in joy. Every night of worry will return as days of laughter. Every betrayal will return as protection revealed. Nothing you endured was wasted. It was all investment in your future. Now, as you walk forward, walk with a new rhythm, slow, steady, confident. Do not rush. God is not late, and neither are you. Everything that belongs to you is already aligned on your path. The right opportunities will recognize your energy. The right people will discern your value. The right moments will appear at the appointed time. You do not have to chase what God has ordained. The same divine power that ended your tough time will guide your footstep into abundance. Look around with the spiritual eyes. Can you feel it? The air around your life has changed. What once felt heavy now feels holy. What once felt cursed now feels charged with a promise. This is not coincidence, it is divine confirmation. God has turned the page. You are no longer under the chapter of endurance, you are under the chapter of emergence. The long night is over, the new dawn has begun. And now, with the confidence of faith, declare it within yourself. My tough time has ended. Speak it not as a hope, but as a fact. Speak it as someone who knows that the word of God is final. The moment you align your speech with His promise, everything begins to synchronize with that truth. Heaven responds to faith-filled words. Speak light, and light will manifest. Speak peace, and peace will multiply. Speak abundance, and doors will open. You have carried sorrow for too long. Now it is time to carry joy. You have carried the questions for too long. Now it is time to carry answers. You have carried the fear for too long. Now it is time to carry faith. The God who sustained you through darkness is now crowning you with the light. This is your moment of divine reversal. The tide has turned. The tough time has expired. God has spoken, and His word stands forever. And now, my friend, hear this final truth. With the full weight of your spirit, your tough time is over. God has spoken, and when God speaks, no power on earth or in the unseen can oppose it. What was once heavy is now light. What was once blocked is now open. What was once delayed is now accelerated. You are stepping into a season of abundance, peace, favor, and divine alignment. Every tear, every struggle, every moment of doubt has been transformed into strength, wisdom, and testimony. Rise with confidence, for God's hand is upon you. Walk boldly into the new chapter. He has written for you, knowing that every step you take is guided, protected, and prospered by Him. Do not look back. Do not cling to the old seasons. Carry the lessons, but leave the pain behind. Speak life over yourself. Declare victory in every area of your existence. Your past no longer defines you. Your destiny now moves forward under the authority of God's perfect timing. This is your moment. This is your shift. God has ended your tough time. And from this day forward, everything aligns with His promise. Step into it with faith. Walk into it with courage. And live it with unwavering confidence. The battle is over. The test is complete. The victory is yours. Your season of breakthrough, blessing, and divine fulfillment begins now.